It's my bestie.
Hi,
Hi.
beautiful. How are
How are
you?
you?
Good. I don't know why
I
I can't see.
miss
I can only see half your face.
you. Why can you only see half my face? Girl, it's a lot of it. I don't know how you can
Oh,
only
wait,
get
hold on.
half.
Oh, must be my phone. I can only see half though.
That's so weird. I can see your whole face in all its beauty and glory.
How have you been? Oh my God, I'm so happy to be here.
Listen, first of all, I miss you. I know that sounds so crazy, but you have this infectious energy about you, and I miss it.
Oh, thank you. We have to connect. You're in LA, right?
I'm in LA. I am.
Okay, I'll be there again. I forgot something's coming up there, but we'll have to connect when I come back this summer, or either spring or
Please.
summer.
Please, please,
Yes.
please, please. Let me tell you something. First of all, I try to explain to everybody why I'm doing this. Obviously, the month of March we're celebrating women, and from a historical perspective, I think that's super dope. But I felt like there are so many women who are doing amazing things, like giants walking amongst us, and
Mm.
we don't recognize them enough. We don't recognize our peers enough, and so I thought, our March. I'm going to create a list, a wish list of people that I have not connected with, that I've met along my journey, that I think are fucking fabulous. And you were at the top of my list. You were one of my
Wow.
tops. And I said, this chick, first of all, she doing everything from, I mean, you didn't stop at hair care. You've gone into, I see you're doing real estate or Airbnbs
Yeah.
or something. You're doing classes, you're on TV. I said, oh my goodness. How in the world, being such a boss, do you juggle all of those things? Because you're also a mother, a wife, all of that.
I know, right?
She's trying to figure it out, like,
um,
where's the answer?
well, I think the biggest piece of all of this is managing my life, my world, and all the things I want to do is the right team, one, and the right partner, two. So the
Mm,
right team, with the right team, you can do anything. You have to have the right team that is going to actually you need people in the room that know more about you and are subject matter experts in their fields you hire them for, and
ooh,
that you can just delegate to, okay, and they get their job done. So that enables me to get to other things, okay.
got
And
it.
then regarding when I say the right partner, if you're single, you're single, but if you have a partner in your life, you better have a good one,
A
because
good one.
that can either help propel you forward or bring or drag you down.
Girl.
So the right partner is supportive, and that husband of mine allows me to sometimes get things out of whack when I'm not my life is not in balance. He's got my back and is taking care of point A and B while I'm over here doing C and D.
Mm.
So that's important. That's critical.
It's funny. I will say this from the moment, well, first, let me say this, dovetailing off of what you just said, is that you give me hope. I have always been, now, first of all, I'm an eternal optimist. I am. However, being a woman trying to do everything, I am one of those people that truly believe that I wasn't sure you can have it all. But then I
Wow.
I watch people like you, and I see that you juggle being a wife, you juggle being a good mother, making sure that you're ever present. But then, you're also expanding your empire. And for the longest, I thought it is
Mm,
impossible as a woman to
mm.
have it all because there are so many people pulling at you, not to mention just the difficulties you face, period, being a woman and trying to be taken seriously. But you give
A
me hope.
black woman, a black woman. Okay.
Mm, mm, mm.
White women get coddled and cuddled, and oh my gosh, you're so
Yeah,
pampered. It's different. Yeah,
yeah.
I know women have issues, and overall, women's suffrage, get it, but black women, it's a whole nother level. So,
Totally, totally different. I'm sure when you walk in the room, first of all, you're probably the only sister in the room walking in trying to do business, and they're looking like,
right,
she probably don't know
right,
what she's talking about.
right. That part, yes, that part,
Irritating, irritating.
yes,
So I
yes.
I also wanted to make sure that I give you your flowers because a lot of people
Wow.
think that when you are successful, that, everything is popping and everybody loves you and you're having so much fun. When the truth
Hmm.
of the matter of it is, at least from my perspective, it can be a very lonely journey because you are so busy all the time. You don't really have as much time as you would like to connect with the people that you've met along the way. So sometimes it is like passing ships in the night. But I will say, when I first moved to Dallas, you were one of the first people that I met. I was thrilled that we connected, and
Yeah.
you were so humble. And at that time, I knew who you were, but I had no idea how smart, how erudite, how sophisticated, how all of these things that you were in that moment. I didn't know. And I did not know that you were going to accomplish so many other things, but yet you were so grounded and so
Mm,
nice and so humble. And every time that I've talked to you, reached out to you, you've never turned me away. And there are not, listen, there are not many people like that in this industry.
really?
No, they're not.
I mean, listen, I don't understand that because I'll say like it can be gone to here today, gone tomorrow, and also I think money doesn't really change you; it just shows you who you really are,
Mm,
and it really does. If you're a jerk, you're a jerk. If you're a good person, you're a good person. I do know that. Um, for me, it's important to be appreciative and to be humble. My mom and everyone has said, Mahisha, you haven't changed. I'm like, well, why should I have?
yeah.
I don't think I should have. My key thing is to make sure, my biggest thing is to make sure that out of life, what I want to do is to make sure my part of my DNA is giving back. Too much is given, much is required.
Much is
And I
required.
know that that karmic law of me sowing and reaping has benefited me and blessed me and enabled me to be successful. So that's a part of being a good person, good human. I don't think bad people really prosper. I don't feel.
Yeah.
Either you're gonna be hurt mentally. You may have the coins, but you're gonna get broken out some other way. So I want mental health. I want success. I want happiness. I don't want to be a miserable person. I
Yeah.
think it's easier to be a nice, person is to be a mean person. So
Well, let me ask you this. You said you want happiness. What does that look like to you? Because a lot of people, you touched on two things. You talked about how you can have a lot of coin but still be mentally unstable, and we've seen it. We've seen people committing suicides who have all kinds of money and power and all of that and still not happy. So for
right.
you, what does happiness look like? And how do you share that?
Yes, and I'll answer that. Before I get to that, I want to say about the balance part. I want to interject and say my no game is strong. And
Mm,
that's one thing that how I protect my peace is I don't say yes to things that I don't want to do, don't benefit me. And I also believe in giving to those who give to also and support you because there are a lot of takers in the world
oh, a
and
lot of
they'll suck
hands
you
out.
dry.
Yes.
So I love, having good girlfriends and good energy around me. Like I loved your energy from day one. So I surround myself with good energy and those people that uplift that and I can have a good time with, that's what I like to be around. But anything that's negative, I'm gonna say no to.
Mm.
If that's not, helping me along my journey in life, I'm gonna say no to that. So that's the way I protect my peace. But regarding I got off topic. The question was how did I keep the balance? Is that what you asked me?
The happiness, like, what does
The
happiness look
happiness.
like for you? I mean, because
Happiness.
listen,
Okay.
I see
I
you traveling, girl, your girlfriends, y'all on the boat. You like, yeah, you riding alongside your hubby. He looking good, you looking fly. So, but I think a lot of times the world that we see on social media does not always equate to happiness. So, in a more grounded, authentic definition, what would that mean for you? What does that look like?
okay. And I can tell you that easily. So I keep grounded and I love laughing. I love
Mm.
laughter. It makes me feel good. So I love my being with my children because they keep me laughing. Listen, I have a 28-year-old and all the way down to a 12-year-old and in between. Okay.
28, girl, you look 30. How you got a 28-year
Okay.
old? You
Okay.
started early.
I'll take that. I'll take that. Yes, yes, ma'am. I'll be 50 next month. So yes, I'll take
Ooh,
every
honey.
accolade.
Mm.
But they keep me laughing and I really absorb their energy and that makes me happy and I love to see them thriving. My
Yeah.
daughter is working for the brand and is excelling. She is just sharp as a tack. She is sharp as a tack, let me tell you. And then my kids, they're happy. And I get joy from that because I was able to create that and a difference from the way I grew up.
Mm.
So different. And that brings me joy. Okay, so what else brings me joy? Because that's the bottom line, children, right? My husband brings me joy. I love my husband. I have a great partner. But my girlfriends, listen, when I can step out with my girls, I'm happy. My inner core, because we are going to have, I can be free. I can be myself, no judgment. I can cry. I can laugh. That helps me to release. Because with all the things I do, I have so much on me that it becomes heavy a lot. So I
Yeah.
need to find a place that give me joy. So it's a small circle of friends. It's my kids, it's my husband. It's Turks and Caicos Islands once a quarter.
Ain't that the truth? Let me tell you something. Nothing that good sunshine, beach, warm water is the cure to just about everything. But you're right. I think that having a good network of girlfriends around you, and again, now I'm not married. I've never been married. And people ask me all the time, how come you're not married? How come you didn't get married? Blah, blah, blah. And my thing is, it's not that I'm not looking for it. I feel it will come when it's time. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is enjoy the girlfriends that I've met along the way, the ones who
Yeah.
laugh at the same things that I laugh at, the ones who don't care if my curls are extra frizzy today, or maybe my makeup ain't right, or maybe I don't have makeup on at all. You know what? They love me
Yeah.
just the same. And for me, that is joyful, being able to show up
Yes.
authentically, exactly who I am. I'm loud. I love to laugh. I'm talking about the belly laugh. Like, who is that? It's me. Join in or don't, but I thought it was funny, so I thought and so I like people who are just authentic. And like I said, from the moment I met you, you've been nothing but real. And more than anything, I'm just so proud to say that I know you when I watch the things that you do. And there's so much negativity out there already. We don't have to pour into that at all. It's just always good to see a Black woman who is a boss, who doesn't have to walk in and yell that I'm a boss. Everything about you says boss. And I think it's important that we share that energy, right?
I appreciate that. And yes, I appreciate the fact that another Black woman can acknowledge that because sometimes we have a hard time. I'm always one that'll see you and go, oh my God, you look beautiful to my sisters. But sometimes we have a hard time with that. So thank you for having that same energy because I like to also, give women their flowers, especially women of color. Um, I really do enjoy laughter too.
Yeah.
Comedy clubs, girlfriends, kids, wherever I can laugh, it just makes me light. There's levity and laughter, and I just love it. So yeah, that's a good piece of my joy.
So if
I
that's
tell you,
joy
I
for
think we have
you,
that in common.
what makes you cry? What upsets you the most?
Hmm.
Like a good old snotty cry. Like, I don't
Oh
know.
man,
Like
Jasmine,
just
I don't know if I want to talk about that. I don't know.
you need a cocktail for that one.
I know. I feel I'm hard on myself. And really hard on myself professionally. Personally. We are our worst critics, right?
Yeah.
We know that. I think for me, the hardest thing is if I have a business failure. Though, I mean, this is a vulnerable question that you're asking because it's one of those things that we don't always admit. Like, when you're an entrepreneur, I mean, it's a journey that's so tough and stressful, especially when you're in retail. But when you have a failure that sticks and it's public, that's a hard thing.
Yeah.
And you have to take those things in and kind of still live and continue to thrive and create and move forward. Those are hard moments. Those have been some hard moments. I was just talking about that the other day with my girlfriend. We are talking about my $7 million loss. Ooh, that was,
$7 million. Where's my drink? I need a tequila or something.
yeah, yeah. You see, you
Oh,
brought out the vulnerability because I thought we were about to have just kiki, but now we're talking about the real stuff.
yeah, but I think these are the kind of conversations that we would have at brunch. We may not share everything, but I also think it's these kind of conversations that fortify us. For instance, for me, I'll be very vulnerable and transparent. I've called you before regarding business and then got scared. Now, I'm one of those women that I'm quick to say, I'm not scared of nothing. Bring it on. What you got? But then there is a vulnerable side of me that has a fear of loss. And I think, you know, I would never look at you and say you would lose. I would never think that. So the fact that you would share that, I think is important because somebody like me needs to hear that. That, I can preach that to other people. And I know I done got fired off jobs 3 times or more and still kept going. But I think
Yeah,
there is
yeah.
something decidedly different when you yourself have a lot at stake that it costs you something.
Mm.
And so to hear you say that you've had a loss, whereas in my mind, I'm thinking, honey, Mahisha don't lose. What are you talking about? You got the wrong one, baby. She don't lose nothing.
See, that's the part that we don't talk about in entrepreneurship, and that's the part that more people need to know, because we on Instagram are showing that Instagram instant success and, oh, everything's gravy. But no, there are times that things happen like that. Big lesson of me launching products before they were should have been launched, and
Mm.
really going against the grain of what I knew I should have done before, and didn't listen to my processes and my people, and did things that I didn't shouldn't have done. Cost me $7 million, and I feel like, though that was a lesson, it was a year of getting through that emotional turmoil, because when you're an entrepreneur, I mean, we tied that success to us so personally
Yeah.
deeply. That's why a lot of them people commit suicide.
Mm-hmm.
You tie that failure and or success to who you are. A lot of
Yeah.
entrepreneurs
That makes
personally,
sense.
versus separating it like most men can. I think a lot of men can make it like a monopoly game where this is just business and then this is, who I am. When you create something from the ground up and then you find that you've made an error so big, it can, hit your self esteem.
And I'm
You
sure it
know.
also has a lot to do with the fact of obviously men can separate it because I think they have so many more opportunities than we do, and they are not always defined by their losses, where I think women are. I think people won't let you forget that you lost. So I think the stakes are higher. So I think that's why we are probably more emotionally attached to it than anything. Like I can think of a ton of dudes in the industry that
Mm.
I'm in whose ratings were in the toilet and
Mm.
still get jobs, right? I have one bad
Ah.
book and honey, if all she had a bad book back in 1993. 1993? How do you remember
Wow.
that? So I
Wow.
think the stakes are totally different. So what do you think about, I will say, about entrepreneurship, the thing I found so interesting, and I always wonder what somebody like you would think is during the time of COVID, everybody was in the house and, everybody was a soapbox preacher when it comes to business. You
Mhm.
need to start your own business and you need to, and invest in this and that. And I thought, the idle mind is the devil's workshop. You got to be
Mm.
careful. So now, coming out of COVID, all of these people who listen to the people on TikTok, and I'm not saying that they are all bad, but all of them
Right,
ain't
right,
good. So they make
right,
it seem like running a business, starting a business, keeping up with the business and being successful is so easy. It's
right.
easy. What do you say to that?
It is not. I like to speak really candidly about that fact, because people do get caught up in that. They think like that super cent, you know who she is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're gonna make $1 million. She made $1 million in 30 minutes.
Yep.
That is not gonna happen to you. Listen, put that as anomaly that will happen in the Guinness Book of World Records.
Yeah.
That's
She's an
not the
outlier
norm.
for sure. For
That
sure.
is not the norm. So we need to get used to the fact that, number one, entrepreneurship is not easy. It's not for everyone. It's not for the faint of the heart. And vast majority of businesses fail by year 5, 80%, in fact. So, and it's harder to sustain than to start, and it can take an emotional toll on you. You can, compromise your financial security and your mental health. It is not for the faint of heart. So no,
Mm.
don't enter into it lightly. I'm not saying don't be an entrepreneur. I'm saying we shouldn't glamorize it. Let's keep it real.
Yeah.
It is, if it works, it's amazing for legacy building for sure. But if you're going to do your due diligence, make sure you have a solid business plan, make sure you have a strong team, make sure you have a great mentor, and make sure you have a strong foundation.
Strong foundation is so important in everything, in
Yeah,
terms of life and living and trying to find happiness before we move on to the next journey. And you said turning 50 or 50.
50, yeah.
50. What has been the most surprising thing for you that you've learned turning 50 as it relates to age? Now, this is that key moment. I know for me, it was finding gray hairs in places. I was like, what the what? What's going
Well,
on?
so
Like, what?
what's the funny moment
Yeah,
for
like a
me?
funny moment. Yeah.
Huh. You know what? Oh my gosh. I feel like I don't know if it's a funny moment, but for me, the aha moment is like, wow, I'm 50? Okay, but listen, I don't look 50. And now
You
I'm
sure don't.
flipping it where I am more my daughter's 28 and she's more conservatively dressed than I am. So we go out together and she skirt to the floor. I got a mini
Your
skirt on.
skirt up to your hip.
And we went out to comedy club last weekend actually because I told you I love to laugh. And I'm like, and the fact that I have a 28-year-old and I'm 50, I feel like, listen, this is a great time for me. I'm enjoying it. She hates it. She's like, yeah, this is my mom. I know she's not my sister.
She
She's my
dropping it like
mom.
it's hot.
But I am loving it, and I feel like it's just a fun time for me. I think it gives me um, energy, and it gives me hope that strength. I know that like I have so much more life in front of me,
I think that's
and
so cool. I think it's funny how, I never thought that I would be the person that I used to point at when I was a kid, that like my mom's friend, I would point and be like, oh my God, they're so old. And they'd be
I
like
know,
40. And to me, that was like ancient. And now
I
I'm
know,
like, I'm in my 50s. And now I'm like, but I feel like times are different, right? Like when you know better, you do better. So I think, the reason you don't look your age or act your age, I think learning what foods to put in your body, learning what
right,
you need, how much sleep you need, being better stewards of our health, right? That's important.
right,
Like
right,
when
right, and I
you
think
got to
different
stay at the
times for
doctor
sure.
sometimes.
Yeah, I think we have. I mean, definitely better food. I mean, we know better. We know know better. You do better. And I feel like having a great workout regimen, right? Making sure I drink water. I mean, healthy. I don't smoke cigarettes. I just like my healthy lifestyle
Yeah.
has enabled me to stay. Yeah, but
But you
also,
do enjoy a good mimosa, I'm sure, right? Or a good margarita.
oh,
You
yes,
okay, good, good. Cuz
with a splash of orange juice.
oh, just a little splash. That's how
But
I
I
will
mean,
send it
my
back if
drink
it's.
of choice is
Oh, what
a
is your drink of
martini.
choice? A
A
martini.
martini.
Gin
Yeah,
or vodka?
Kettle One vodka,
Oh.
vermouth rent, blue cheese olive, straight up.
Oh, well, wait a
That's my
second.
drink.
I'm going to have to try that because now I'm a martini drinker, but I like mine slightly dirty, shaken, not stirred.
Okay.
I like the little
He's a
coolness
little
of the
bit.
ice, a little bit, little bit. Now, I'm not a fan of the blue cheese olive in my drink, but I like to eat blue cheese olives.
Really
I
okay.
think the blue cheese dirties my drink a little bit more than I like.
Ah,
I think that
ah.
might be what it is. But
I like the blue
I
cheese.
just turned to gin maybe 2 years ago. I used to be a tequila girl.
Ah, I still like tequila. Clase Azul is
Oh, oh yeah.
my little sipping. You can sip that, sip sip. That's a
Oh
good
yeah.
thing at night.
There's a good tequila called Abandonado. It's like an extra extra añejo. It is
Mm, amazing.
delicious.
Okay, I'm gonna try that.
Delicious. You have to try it. It is freaking amazing. What would you say your if you weren't in the room, what would your
Mm.
husband say about you? If he were talking to other people, what would that sound like? If you walk by, what would he say? And he didn't know you
if
were
they ask
listening.
if they ask the question, like what was the question he'd be asked? Like, tell me
Just,
about your
just,
wife.
just, yeah, like what's it like being married, or
Ah,
that kind of thing. What would he say?
oh God, hilarious. Okay, honestly, he would say, she's spoiled. I spoil her. She's loving, but she's also bossy. She's a great mom, but she's also overprotective. I mean, he would break it down. I am, I'm a lot. He would say she's a lot. You know what he says? What's funny? I have to say this. When I told him, like, when I tell him guys try to talk to me, or I'm out, or he see people commenting inappropriately on Facebook, he
Yeah.
goes, "I am not worried about nobody taking you from me, because if they did, they bring you right back."
You can't be high maintenance like that, are you? I mean, I don't know, because I'm pretty high maintenance too, which is probably why I'm single. I'm a lot. I am a lot. What would you say when when he says you're spoiled? What is your biggest vice? Like, is it shoes? Is it perfume? Or I want it now? Like, what is it?
I don't think it's about material things. I think it's more about getting. I like to get what I need to get, what I want to get it, and what I want when I want to get it. So I'm not used to not getting what I want. And that means
Mm.
not just like, I'm not talking about gifts. I'm saying if I'm going to go trip, it's going to be the best trip. If if I'm going to, have dinner at this spot, I'm going to get that reservation. I'm not used to no. And I'm going to make it happen. So, and if you get in my way, then you shoot away. But I
Right.
feel like he's used to me being that aggressive, assertive person that goes after what she wants and gets it. So in that case, spoiled. I think he's like, you mean sure you're not used to being told no a lot anymore. And he doesn't tell me no a lot.
You got
So
a
that's
good
what he
one.
means. And not about material stuff. I'm just saying like, I can get my way. I can get him to do whatever I want him to do.
Oh, honey, you got a good one. You got to go. How long have you guys been married?
20 years this February.
20 years. I'm not even going to ask what the secret is because I feel like there is no real secret. I think you just have things that work and things that don't, and I think it's different for everybody. But what would be good relationship advice from you to someone just starting out?
Well, first of all, before you get in bed too deep with someone, and pun intended, I would say you need to understand that you guys have this, make sure you have the same core values. That's the number one thing, okay? Because we have the same core values, but we're opposite in the ways that were important because he's my yin to my yang.
Hmm.
I'm an extrovert, he's more introverted. I'm more type A aggressive, and he's more of a, I'm gonna get it done, but I'm not gonna be in your face like that. I'm gonna take a different route. There couldn't be two Mahishas in the household. It wouldn't work. It just would be too much.
Yeah.
So it's a nice balance. I'm an easier parent that can push over and give them whatever they want, and he makes them work for it. That's a good balance for parents.
Mm.
So I think for us, it's the perfect balance of in every way. Same values where it matter, differences to create balance.
That makes sense. That makes sense because I've always said that whenever I find my partner and settle down, it would have to be an anchor because I'm a butterfly. I'm going to float
Right.
all over the place. I'm hyper creative. I love shiny things, not material things, but
Right.
it's easy for me to lose attention and focus. And so for
Okay.
me, I need that anchor who can hold me down and be cool with it and don't
Right.
criticize my flying because I'm gonna float high. I'm gonna be everywhere. Like
Right. Right.
that's
Right.
kind of
Right.
my thing. And it's difficult to find a guy who's comfortable with being the anchor. Like he doesn't have to ever leave the ground like that. Doesn't mean he's not elevating. It just means he
Right.
elevates in a different way than I do. So that would be the yin to my yang.
Yes, and that's important. And for my husband, he is confident and he has a quiet confidence about himself. So he can sit back and support, but without any ego. Like there's no ego attached with the fact that, I mean, when we got together,
Yeah.
when we first got together, he was making way more money than I was. And then the business obviously progressed and things shifted. But he's able to, I mean, there's no ego to that. This is a family thing, it's a business together. Some men wouldn't be able to deal with it.
Yeah, it's so funny. I've had that conversation with DL quite a bit, and he's always said that he could never be in a relationship with a woman who made more money than him. Or he could never be in a situation where someone else was the breadwinner because he believes that, and I do believe to a certain extent this might be a little true. Now, I think it goes back to what you said, core values, but this mouth right here, as soon as we get into an argument, what you broke ass, like I have to rein that in real quick. I pay the bills around here. Who
You
you?
didn't
It
say
ain't my house.
that.
What you talking about? Get out. You get out. Like it, But it. I mean, I'm petty like that. Look, I'm petty. But he says that he believes that would drive the wedge because how can a man feel like a man if he can't provide for his family? But I think it's one thing if you went into the relationship and one person was doing, and then there was the
Yeah.
flip because I think you've had time to build that base, right?
Yes. I mean, it was like he was professional, I was professional, and he was in IT making more. But we got married, and then he was a big, strong foundational unit of the business. Like, he was supporting me when I didn't believe in myself. I mean, he was the backbone when I was filling oils in my garage. He was the guy that would help and would label and go drop them off at UPS. No,
Oh
he
yeah.
was a part of this. So
Yeah.
no, we kind of grew it together. And he also sacrificed his career because they wanted to promote him several times above and beyond where he is now. And he would have had to travel. He would have traveled like 60% of the time. And we couldn't do that with the level of this
The
business
business.
plus the kids. So the business plus our kids and him gone, we couldn't have both been that gone, right? Gone
Yeah.
that much. So he stepped back from that and let the family business be, the breadwinner, So I think it's about, we did it together. It wasn't like we came in separately. We did it together. He supported, and he saw the bottom line vision for the family.
That's beautiful. Relationships are such a complicated thing sometimes. What do you think outside of sex? What is the most
Mm,
intimate thing that you can do in a relationship? Outside of sex, like outside of the
yeah.
physical, what do you think is like something that is very intimate for you?
Being able to tear down every guard that you have and be vulnerable and speak about any inner issues, anything that scares you, things that make you insecure. Just being able to be vulnerable, I think, is important. To talk about everything that you typically would hold in for fear of being judged, and being able to share those things with that mate. I've been able to strip all of that down, all of my concerns and worries about being judged, and have shared so much with my husband. I don't think there's anything he doesn't know about me.
That's
And I've
amazing.
had a lot happen in my life. So I think that's the thing. And vulnerability is key. And for a man, that's hard to pull out of them. So to
Yeah.
get him to share those things, that's intimacy. Because, like he's told me, like, listen, in college, I had a good old time sexually. That's not
I
intimacy.
mean, right. No, it's not. Correct. Not at all. Not at all.
So being that woman in his life that he wants to share all that with and give all that to, and have bear his children. That's intimacy. That's sharing life. I mean, we've lost a child. I had baby carried to 6 months. We've gone through postpartum depression twice. I've been let go and laid off. I've had a lot of things happen to me that we've gone through together. Oh, his family not really liking me because I'm not, because I'm black. We had to go through that where he had to dismiss some of his family. I mean, we've gone through a lot together. Yeah.
But I think that's the part that you don't see, and obviously, most people don't wanna share, and I don't blame them on social media, but I think it has created when people just see the outcome, when they see the after, right? That's when they start saying relationship goals. I want that. I want that. I want that. But I think what people fail to realize is that none of this stuff is microwaved. Like this was years in the making. This was years of baking and perfecting and figuring out, well, that was too much salt, or that's we forgot to put, baking powder in it, or and being able to say, but we'll stay in the kitchen and continue to perfect this recipe.
Yes, and that's what it takes, and you have to remove the ego. Um,
Mm.
I think if he had the ego that my ex had, we wouldn't be here today. We wouldn't. My
Oh,
ex,
and
we
I would
wouldn't be here.
imagine what's it like seeing your ex now? He's like, look at me now. That's what you're saying. Like,
Oh my
now what?
gosh.
How about this? What? What? Because sometimes your ex thinks
All
you'll never make it without me. You won't be nothing without me. You like, well, look at me now
all of my stories. All
with
my
my
stories.
martini. Look
All my
with my
stories.
G
You can see,
with my
you
vodka
know how you can see
martini.
the top people in your stories? You can see the top people. Always like a number five.
Hilarious. I know you got to rub it in every now and then, right? Just a little bit. Come on, a little bit.
I mean, no. I
She was
just let
like,
the
I
stories do
mean,
their thing.
no.
I just let the stories do their thing.
Yeah, it's true what they say. Success is the best and the sweetest revenge. It really is.
Oh, I know it is. It is. It totally is. And you know what? And I ended up, I thought I wanted that man, but I ended up with the person I'm supposed to be with. So I can't even be mad.
It's always that way. Some you think you want something, especially when you're younger. You're like, oh, but I just love everything about him. And then years later, you look back and say, oh, thank you, God. What a disaster
Thank
that
you.
would have been.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Jesus. Yeah,
What a
totally.
disaster.
Yes.
So, with
God
all
knew.
of the things under your belt, the wins, the losses, everything in between, what is next for you? Like, I feel like you've conquered everything. Like, I don't know that there's anything that, at least to my knowledge, that you haven't done or haven't tried. What's next for you?
You know what? As I approach 50, April 16th is my birthday.
April
I gave myself,
16th, that's my mama's birthday.
oh, is it
Rest in
really?
heaven. That's my mama's birthday.
Oh,
Oh, that's
mm,
beautiful. Isn't that
special
something?
praise. Oh, well, that is a great 416 is a great blessed day.
Indeed.
I, I'm actually going to give myself time because this I don't do this very often to I'm gonna give myself a beat to figure that out. I haven't done that in the last 20 years. Step back and just breathe. I'm gonna breathe. I'm gonna figure out. I don't know yet. The answer is I don't know, but I'm gonna take a moment
I love
to
that.
breathe and figure it out.
I think that's refreshing because I think sometimes, especially as Black women, I feel like we scrape and scrimp our entire lives. We work hard because we have these goals, and before you know it, and I'll tell you, this happened to my biological mother. She worked her whole life, couldn't wait to retire so she could buy her own house. She retired and died before she got her first check. And I remember
Oh,
thinking, I never want to work so hard that I never
yeah,
get to enjoy it before my time is up.
yeah,
So I think it's
yes,
refreshing to hear somebody who's done so much and accomplished so many things and given back so much to say, I don't know. I'm going to take a beat and to be okay with the I don't know. I think is beautiful.
yeah. I have to be. I have to be I have to be here for my children. I have to be okay with my direction for the rest of my life on this earth, and I need to make sure I make the right decisions with that.
I love
And
that.
I want to enjoy my grandkids, so I have to be here for all that. So I'm looking. Listen, I'm not trying to age myself. Okay, I'm not trying to age myself and get like become 70. I'm just saying that now that I'm approaching 50, I'm looking at life differently than I did before. And I'm looking forward to going, okay, what does my next phase of my life look like? I don't know, but I'm gonna take a beat to figure it out. But I also want to make sure that my mental health is taken care of. And I'm really focusing on that
Well, I tell you
because we
what,
don't do that well
at
enough for
all. Yeah,
people.
for sure. I am looking forward to seeing what your answer is. I will be watching. I'm always watching, always cheering, always rooting. We don't really get to talk a lot. I get it. Life happens. We're both busy. But just know that I never forgot the first time I met you. I'm always cheering for you. Every time you
Oh,
launch a new product, I get it. I may not say it to you, but I do because I know.
oh
I think
my
that it's
God.
okay when people gift you things. I think that's wonderful. I never discount that because Lord knows I love a good gift. However, I think the best way that we can show support to our sisters, at least in my opinion, is to do something like what I'm doing today, is to tell you to your face, I am here. I see you. I am one of your largest and loudest cheerleaders. I root for you all the time. And if there is anything that I can do to support you, I always, always, always will. Period.
Oh my God.
I
Thank you.
mean that.
I
You
love
could be
you.
like,
Thank you for
Jasmine,
that.
I need you to come to town. I'm doing something. Could you host? Or Jasmine, could you just come sit in the audience? I'm like this. Expedia, American, Delta,
Mama. Oh
Dallas
my
flight,
God.
ASAP. I am in the building.
Thank
Count
you.
that. You can write that down and take that to the bank because I think you, Mahisha, fucking rock.
Oh,
I
Jasmine, you're
said
so
it
sweet. Thank you, my
and I
dear.
meant it.
Thank you.
I
And
thank you
I
for
can't
taking
wait
this
to
time
see
with
you
me.
in person. Like we have to connect in
We have to.
Vegas. I mean, not Vegas, LA.
LA,
Yes.
for sure. Martinis together, me and you.
Martini.
And you know
Yes.
what? Blue
Martini.
cheese olive for me. I'll give it a shot.
Yes. Yes. I can't wait to
Mahisha,
see
thank you
you.
so much. I know you're super busy. I'm so glad we were able to reschedule again. You are,
Yes.
in my opinion, nothing short of amazing. Like I said, I don't think we
Mm,
tell each other that enough because we're all
right.
busy, and you get the magazine articles and the reports and in the media and in the news, but sometimes you just need to hear it from a sister like right next to you. You just got to hear it, and I think we don't say it enough. And so I was determined for the month of March, that's what I would do.
Oh, well, that is so amazing. I like your intentionality here. And thank you for letting me be a part of this celebration. And until we have our martini, I'll see you soon
Yes,
with
ma'am,
a
you
toast.
will. It toast is right. Well,
Yes.
have a wonderful day, mama. Enjoy yourself and keep looking fabulous.
Thank you, my dear. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye
Love you,
bye.
girl.
Love you, mama.